Hello and welcome to another session of the Veil Iterations. This is a work in progress, taking the Veil, which is one of my favorite PbtA games and favorite cyberpunk games, and trying to do some adaptations, some rule changes and things to fit with the style that I run. And originally it was just pretty much a play test, but we've been playing these characters, and so it's kind of morphed over into we're just going to keep playing these characters for a while to get through these stories. We have made some significant changes along the way to debts and things like that. And I keep meaning to go into our character keeper and update those things with the new rule briefings, but I keep forgetting to. There are other things I need to do with it, but now that I don't have to worry about managing on social media on Gauntlet, I have more time. I do not have to worry about Twitter and the soul destruction that causes me. But in any case, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. So we are going to come back to our characters. At the end of last session, I believe there was more conversations. In particular, there was sort of the follow-up conversation from Marley's discussion with the person known as Demise. I believe that was one of the key things on that side. And I believe there was some investigation that you were doing on your side, Gabriel, in terms of the corporate stuff and talking about moving forward on some of the musical things.
Did we not end up over at the studio? Patrick and I were going to the studio because his person was, I want to meet
Oh,
her.
yeah.
So we're
That's
over
why.
there. We
Yeah.
just
Well,
arrived at the end.
we will table that for the moment because we'll
Okay.
definitely need Patrick here for that. But I think we can do some other like start of session or sideline or other things that you want to work on. In fact, let's go ahead and start with you, Gabriel. You're doing pretty well on capital.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh, so what is it that Gabriel needs to get into play? Is it, finding out about more things? Is it getting more allies into place? Is it getting operations moving? What is it that Gabriel needs to do? I mean, we got sort of the setup with the bots and the virtual reality people. We've got the stuff with your uncle, and then we've also got the stuff with the music war. So
Right.
the sort of three things. Sidebar to that, small sidebar to that, of course, there's the stuff with your uh, uh, the interactions you had at the party with your sister, effectively.
Oh,
Stepsister.
stepsister / possible love interest.
Fair enough. So what is it that you would like to do?
Um, I would like to get a little focus on the music since we seem really close to being in a spot for some of that.
Okay.
Where we have Heller has done such a good job of getting hardware into a position where we feel like it's nearly there. Worked with Patrick's character
Right.
as well to get that stuff kind of ready. We got the studio. I think I wouldn't mind getting a chance for us to let's hear what it sounds. I'd love the moment of finding out what it is.
So we've got sort of two prongs that you have going here. The hardware is something you're not going to necessarily be able to capitalize on because of the patents and things like that. That's the thing. But you are going to be able to have it so that you can get those to your musicians and get that in place and things like that. So what your real sort of arrow in your quiver is getting a set of music ready, but then also getting some people who understand the engineering required for it.
Right.
So I think there is a bit, and we maybe are flashing back a little bit on this, but there is a bit where uh, let me get uh, uh, Temple, Heller's sister, will sit you down and will say, "So we've got this." Says, now, what I've done is very conventional because that's kind of where we need to start with. I've been trying to figure out like what the scales are when we go up into this range and how that translates over. Uh, the thing is getting some algorithms and stuff such that the engineers can work with this, and then they're going to have to work with it from feel. I think we're going to need to put together, and this may be me working with Riddle, is putting together like essentially an app package to help people do this.
All right.
I've taken a composition that Zephyr had put together and something that I've worked on, and we've built effectively a kind of a mixtape. We mixed it in with some other things that we had worked on before. So I'm going to have you listen to it with the mod headphones that Heller has. And she goes, "You should sit down."
All right. I have to tell you, I'm very excited. And I will put on the thingy and hope my ears don't explode.
Why don't you do me a favor and make a roll for me here?
Okay. What am I? Is
This is a
but
kind of,
straight roll, or should I
I think
use
this is
a state?
stay a state. This is a kind of a modified version of inner conflict in some ways.
I think this is probably joy that this is finally coming to a chance to see a result. All right. Oh, ha! I got a 4.
You got a 4. Well, the good news is you get mark XP.
Woohoo!
The bad news is you're going to spike out joy.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
What you will feel is there's a whole thing with all of the visual stimulus that you get from the veil around you that people have had to get used to. That sort of constant stimulus and a constant like changing of how they see things, how they perceive things, where things are in their vision, that sort of layers of augmented reality. And the music goes where it shouldn't go. And that is the thing, is it is wondrous and it drags you along, but it is vertiginous at first. I want you to imagine what it must have been
That's
like.
a word I've not heard before, Lowell. Yeah. What does that $5 word mean?
Causing vertigo.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I want you to imagine what it would be like for someone who, say, has only been able to hear, like, let's say they had an ear injury and they've only ever been able to hear in mono, to suddenly be able to hear in stereo.
Gotcha.
That there is, it's a changing, an addition of, we have bifocal vision, we have monofocal, and then suddenly you have bifocal vision. it's like that. It opens up the landscape and you feel yourself dropping, trying to get a sense of how this can be. It goes away fairly quickly, but like that first rush of this is like a whole new set of senses being opened up to you. Hey, Patrick.
Hello, I'm going to go on mute and start driving.
Absolutely. We were just describing what it was like for Gabriel to listen to Taylor Swift for the first time. So,
Oh, I'm sorry I missed it.
Haters gonna hate.
exactly.
That's what I hear.
I think to also kind of maybe reflect that spike in joy,
Mm-hmm.
I think tears are like coming, just running down my face. Kind of the revelation of what it can be, the fear that kind of hits me a little. There's an element of being disturbed by what the experience was, and yet it being so revelatory that it gets that just like visceral awe that kind of overcomes me.
And she'll wait until you're done and until you take the headphones off, and she'll say, there are a lot of people who have artificial eyes and things like that that can see into high range spectrums, different spectrums and things like that. But those tools take that and reprocess it into a format that the eye can handle, and the brain can handle. It isn't like really showing them that. I mean, nothing. You're never really seeing it. It kind of stops. But this is a less mediated experience, where we've got it set so it's kind of changing how your brain can process this.
It's wonderful and terrible.
Yeah.
I hardly know how to express it.
Here's the thing, though.
Yes.
I had to filter out, when I was doing this, some background noise. The usual stuff I would expect. However, there's a constant hum going on at this range. And I've measured it in a couple of different parts, and it's clearly being broadcast. Like, it changes volume in places. I'm sure if you got like a full sweep, you might be able to identify places where this is getting broadcast from. But there is somebody doing broadcasting in this range. Now, I'm no cryptological. They're not broadcasting like music or anything like that. I think somebody is using this range right now to do very hidden, I don't know if it's subliminals or if it's a hidden information exchange or what.
Huh. I'll get Riddle and Heller to begin looking into it, but you are glorious. This was unlike anything I've ever known before.
She goes, I know the limits of what I can do. Like, I understand that this is going to be incredibly potent in the hands of the right artists.
Temple, you are the right artist.
First artist is not always the right artist, but I appreciate your enthusiasm.
I believe in your talent, and we will refine this. I will give you every opportunity.
I have a lot more work to do. The next thing I need you to do is to get a team of sound engineers with ironclad NDAs in here.
We have Brent, but I assume you will need a full team.
We'll need a full team. The other thing you probably ought to do is you ought to look who you have in your guild's back catalog, who is still around, who maybe were popular before, but maybe are kind of out of fashion, that we could re-record their materials in this range and extend things out.
Temple, you are a very savvy businesswoman.
It's a really easy project. And if you want to get a catalog under your belt to right out the door when this happens, you're going to want to do that. And that's the kind of business that I worked in for many years. So that's part of why I don't have my guild card. But
well, we'll see about that being changed. You are a delight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marley, you've had this weird encounter with Demise, and this is, we either can flash back or we can do this kind of like thinking about the trip back to meet up with Gabriel and Riddle, with you and Heller kind of after this very strange meeting. So maybe we want to do that scene, or is there something else you want to do?
Can't think of anything off the top of my head. So yeah, that scene's probably good.
And so I think we're on one of those tram lines, because we've described the two of you riding on those before, and it's, you know, evening, it's raining outside, there are a couple other people in the car, things are shooting past bullet train style. And do you sit next to each other, or do you sit across from each other, or Heather, you are muted.
I think because it's evening, you know, it's night, that we actually have set across from each other, so we can actually kind of hold a block of seats just between the two of us instead of having to share.
Yeah.
Not that you would have to, but it keeps someone from just sliding in across from us and
Yeah.
me having to whisper so much. So, like, so what next? I mean, you got a big gun that'll go off, who knows when and how, but
Yeah.
what else do we need?
I don't know. I suppose finding out when and where their next project is going to be is probably a good idea.
Okay.
I think I'm like clearly distracted, you know, or like, you know, not thinking so much about the next step. Like, I didn't think that far ahead.
I think Heller stops and goes, so what do you do about that guy?
I have no idea. I think I've made a mistake even contacting him, to be honest, but now
Now, the things he was saying, I might have misunderstood him, but it kind of sounded like he was eating people, but like eating
I
their.
don't think you misunderstood that. I think you're right. I think that's exactly. I think it was literal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, is this wilder thing, like an AI? Is it like eating other like routines? I mean, I don't understand because like I eat something I don't take on. I don't know. Maybe I've never had meat in my life, but it's not like I get more piggy or anything, you know? Do I?
I I I don't know how it works really. I've never heard of anybody. I mean, I guess I've heard stories, but they're like those are stories for kids. I mean, that's not the. It's not. Well, it's not how it. Okay, actually, I didn't think any of this worked, and I thought it was all stories for kids. So, I mean,
So
for
tell me
all I
the
know,
stories.
there might be ogres in the, in the swamp.
There's alligators. Ogres
There
really
are
aren't that
alligators.
far along the continuum, are they?
And alligators also eat people, but I don't think they become magical. They usually don't eat people. Once in a while. It sounded like he was finding people with some powers. However you get those. I'm still not really sure on why some people get them and some don't. But it sounded like he's tracking people down with those powers and eating them literally or figuratively or both in order to make himself more powerful.
And he can't
And
eat you yet. So that's good.
yeah, yeah, that's good. I would just as soon stay uneaten.
Yeah.
But
I mean, do you have some sense of like what's powered you up?
no, not really. It just sort of started to happen one day, and then I would try to do something that I had discovered I could do and end up doing a different thing, and then learn how to do that too. Usually, I don't think I've ever discovered that I could do something by trying to do that thing. When I just teleported, I was just trying to hide.
Oh.
That's all. I was just thinking, I gotta get out of here. I gotta hide. They can't see me. And then I was at the bottom of a river, and that sucked. But
I don't think
So-
you told me this story. In you were trying to hide and you ended up at the bottom of a river?
well, when I was trying to hide, I tried to hide in a ditch. So maybe I ended up in the river because it was similar. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I know that I can go from one place to another, but where I end up might be worse than where I started.
What about that trail of rust and broken things? What was
Yeah.
that?
That was so I was trying to just, I don't know, I was just fiddling with it really. A bulldozer. And it just started to independently kind of circle around and start knocking things over. So I got out of there.
So whatever your power is, you can infuse it in other things as well.
Yeah, I can change what, not so much what they are, but what they're for. That's why I was thinking the Dollbots.
could we figure out where the infrastructure is for this corp and set it to disassembling itself? Disassembling, not dissembling. That would just be chattering, wouldn't it? I remember that from a vocabulary test in 8th grade. Anyway,
I think it's a lot of corpse. But yeah, I mean, theoretically.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that they got a pretty standard way of actually flooding, and they just make excuses to be able to open that up and not be watched, right? So if we can find out
Like it.
what their setup is, that's what we can take apart.
Yeah.
And maybe Murder Boy, maybe he can, take care of any peoples that are there. Seems to be his thing.
Yeah, it does.
Just not
like I
me.
said.
That's how does he do it? Like, what do I got to make sure he doesn't do?
Make sure he doesn't.
How did he kill people?
Oh. You gotta make sure he gets nowhere near you.
Oh,
Because the way he kills people. Look, you saw what I did in that facility. I just made like part of the wall rust until it was weak.
yeah.
He does that to cyberpunk. So yeah, you should not be anywhere near it.
Yeah, to organics, to biological systems.
Well, hell's bells. Okay, then I might not be able to be there with you, Marley, but I can like overwatch from afar.
Yeah, you did. It's really probably good that you not be anywhere near.
Yeah. So basically, I think it would be better if you weren't anywhere near too. But anyway, let's see if we can find the setup that they use over and over again.
I've already like stood 2 feet from him, and
I know,
nothing
but
terrible
you were
happened,
watching
so I
him the
think I'll
whole
be all right.
time. You were watching him the whole time.
That's true. Didn't say I trusted him.
Let me ask you this, Marla. This is a question that I have. As the Wayward, you have a connection to your homeland, and it embodies a couple of your states. How is it that you, Marley, visualize that connection? Is it instinctual, or is there some mental thing? Like what does that relationship look like, do we think?
I think because of the reason I was sent here in the first place and how I got here via boat, I probably do like picture it as like an invisible river or something.
Okay.
Because like that's how my homeland is connected to this city.
And in that visualization, Marley, do you believe that you are literally connected to a physical space? Do you imagine that it is like a platonic, like absolute version? Do you imagine that it's a dream? Like, how do you think you picture what that is? The homeland with the capital H.
Right. I think I'm picturing a physical space and people like my, village or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I think that's what I'm picturing. I'm it's not just the land, it's not just, you know, a particular natural element. It is the village that I came from, including the people.
Okay. Interesting.
And Heller's question is, does it include the alligators?
Yes, absolutely.
Heller, is there anything that you wanted to do
About this?
in general, as we're kind of doing a once around on moves and such?
Yeah, I still need to like take care of my arm. My right arm is going. I replaced the hand already, but the arm. So I need to do some
scrounging. So tell me about, and we can, this may be a flashback here or something along the way, this new place that you've scrounged at. Like, is it something you researched for? Is it something that somebody told you about? Like, who's your connection? What do you think that is?
You know that MedQuick place? It was like, I think I was sort of curious about that, and I looked it up, and I found that it, like many things, has moved a few times, you know, to follow where the good taxes are and things like that for the corpse. And whenever they do that, they often leave behind things. So I'm thinking that if I go back to the place that they were previously, I might be able to find something. So I'm sort of back in that area, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, these are the kinds of places that they buy like a renewing 60-day dump site lease that they just keep rolling over. So they don't have to clear up that. It's cheaper to do that than it is to clean up the hazardous material that has been left behind.
Exactly. And sometimes they dump more hazardous material there. So
Yeah.
This is probably why I get as sick as I do, is because I'm in these kinds of places all the time.
So what do you want to roll for this scrounge?
Let's see here, that's a good question. Oh, I think this time it's more, I'm going to go with power. And the
Okay.
reason that I'm doing that is I recognize that this is a thing that I do to keep myself going. I just have to be sensible about it and move forward. And as long as I do, I'll have more time, and that'll give me a chance to figure out what I need to do for the next thing.
Sure.
So it's just that kind of, it's not like I'm afraid. I've told myself this beautiful story, if this makes sense.
I like lying to myself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
exactly. Who doesn't like lying to themselves? So I'm rolling 2d6 and adding
Absolutely.
1. Now I know that I opened the thing for this, but I guess it's
If
that
you're
it's
like
one
me,
of
you'll
19.
accidentally close the roller at least 3 times during each session.
Exactly. That is what I've done. So, or I've opened 4 of them, including one from other games, and I can't tell which is which. So
We need to be able to put little icons, like little,
oh
little,
yeah,
little
that would be
pictures.
very nice.
Thing.
So that gives me a 7.
That gives you a 7.
Yay.
So on a 7 to 9 for the scrounge, you can gain 1 scrap or 2 scrap at a cost.
I'll take 1 scrap.
Okay.
And I'm going to do something crazy. What?
So I could help if you're
But it's a 7
having a
right
bigger
now.
success.
Yeah, it would.
Oh, right. Yes, it won't. That won't get it up to the next one.
Yeah, it's a lot. So no, it's good because I already have 2 scraps. So I'll just take that 1 and I'll spend 3 on my next roll.
Okay.
For the thing. So
do you want to go ahead and make that roll now, or do you want to hold off on that?
Why
don't we hold off on that?
You sure?
Okay. Yeah, let's bring Gabriel, you've returned back. with Riddle. Riddle has excused himself, essentially saying he has to go check in with somebody, and will be up in a bit. Again, this is that new place that you have where there's a cat. That,
Okay, so we
came
we
with the
went
apartment.
we went back from there from the studio.
oh yeah, no, actually we'll put it back at the studio now. I remember that you're
Okay,
going there.
okay.
Yeah. So you're there, Gabriel. Riddler said he'll return. And Heller and Marley show up, sort of post their meeting with this very dangerous person.
How did it all go?
We are still alive.
Was there some doubt of it? You really didn't give very much information of who you were going to meet, Marley.
I didn't think there was a lot of doubt, but it turns out maybe.
You said he was from your homeland and that he had potentially killed some people.
Definitely killed people. Turns out. Yeah. Well, on the other hand, he is now not at all a fan of was it Aegis Alliance? So there's a serial killer with magical powers who has it in for
You
them.
were pointed at your enemies.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll admit, Marley, I'm rather surprised that would be something you would do.
So am I. Turns out that is something I would do.
It was better
I'm
than
not
trying
sure I
to
could
confront him and
stop
have
him.
a conversation.
Are you all right?
Me, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Not physically.
Just regretting every choice I've made in life that has led me on this path. But other than that, I'm fine.
Is this a problem we'll have to deal with in the future?
I don't know. I'm not sure how. So I told him I wouldn't try to stop him, but I have no idea how I would try to stop him. Here, let me, and I like describe him, and I'm like, okay, do not go near this person. Yeah, I mean, I guess at this point, all I can do is warn people, but
Well, I don't know if I wholly approve, but I certainly understand what these people at Aegis have been doing is horrific.
yeah. I can't really say this serial killer is any better, but
Well, I would think that just by calling him a serial killer, he is probably not a very good person now.
no, definitely not. But I think less dangerous, if only because he can only be in one place at a time.
I suppose it depends on who he's going after.
Yeah.
At the moment, Aegis is probably not very dangerous for you, but should he decide he wants to kill you or point at who?
Sorry. trying to mute and I hit the wrong button there.
He is probably considerably more focused.
Yeah. You seem to be under the impression that I was quite a bit more powerful than I actually am. So,
That you're aware of.
Yeah.
This night
And
has
he
been
didn't
very,
seem like
very
the type to
difficult.
pick a fight with somebody he actually thought was a danger to him. So I think I'm actually relatively safe for the moment.
That is good. That is very good. And I have arranged us a new place since he was aware of our old one. It is remarkably homey. There's a cat. I've been calling him Mr. Butters.
Cat? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I got the other place. I did not
Think nothing
expect
of
to
it.
find-
He'd been there long enough anyway. You look like you could use a drink.
I could use a lot of drinks.
Very good. And I will go and retrieve an expensive drink. You're muted, my love.
This seems perfect. It feels like a good spot for us to take our first break. Take
And
10
Patrick
here.
has just arrived home.
Okay, that'll give him a little time to get oriented. So we'll come back at a little bit after the hour here, about 5 after. Okay.
Cool.
Cool. So Riddle, where do you meet Roxo to take him up to the studio? Lobby, different building, some virtual space you've created. Where do you think it is?
I like the idea of like his own part of a park that he's slowly shaped down and gotten rid of all of the little bits of like irregular nature that he doesn't like, and made sure that everything is exactly the way he wants it when he wants it, sort of place.
And Roxo shows up. You're not sure whether he traveled through the Veil, whether he took a cyber Uber, or hijacked a car, but here he is. Riddle.
Roxo?
Yes,
That we're going with?
that's the name that you thought of.
So
So
have
let's
we been
go.
adjusting? Oh, okay, we're doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's because, unless you have something you need to say to me.
No, no. You roll, that will be done real quick.
Okay.
It's a 9.
That's
So
a
that's
9.
one hold.
One hold.
I will say, actually, look, so I've been thinking through things, and I really think the only logical way to move forward with all of these disparate threads is that we need a body printing setup. Workshop? Maybe a full workshop. Yeah. We're not going to get anywhere with trying to hunt down these doll bots that are out there. There are all these corpses, like
But why are we talking?
societies.
Why are we talking business right now? You're
What?
going to take me up to see the studio and the people and introduce me to your friends and all that. Come on.
Yeah.
That's
but
all. That's all things for the future. We'll talk about that when we need to talk about that. We
No,
don't need
but
to
I
talk
need
about
a
it now.
I need a plan to approach them with.
What do you mean?
Well, like, why are you here?
Because I'm a manifestation of your subconscious that you gave physical form to, and through accident through that room, and now you brought me around to do that because I made these demands of you.
Well, maybe don't. Wait, demands? No, we're in a mutually agreed upon partnership. No,
However you
agree.
want to frame it.
All right, cool. I'm saying I need some. Fine, okay, later, but
I'll improvise with your lies. It's like jazz. I like jazz.
no, I'm not lying. I'm trying to talk about funding sources. It takes a lot of money for large equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And like, I don't have a lot of money, and that's why I got to know Gabriel, except he keeps running out of money. And, well, Heller's apparently disintegrating, and Marley's, I don't know, trying to manifest the will of nature onto the sinning planet of capitalist warmongers. I'm not sure. It's something weird. Also, there's this whole new body, and I don't really. Have you noticed, by the way, that you're not entirely? I mean, I don't mean to be rude. It's just true that you're not like real completely all the way physical.
I take exception to that.
Well, then don't you want to do something about it?
And he reaches up and he touches your suit. And he says, I'm as real as I need to be. And besides, you can't feel anything. Not through that. So why do you care?
Because living entirely in a world that I make up isn't as interesting as I thought it would be.
Interesting. Well, shall we go see your friends now?
Fine, just maybe a little less with the manifestations of subconscious demands and things like that.
I will follow your lead.
I don't even remember agreeing to do this. Why are we doing this again? We should definitely be. Are you feeling sick? I'm feeling sick.
All right. So let's bring you upstairs. Gabriel, Riddle rings through that he's here with a guest.
Ugh. It's even nothing for what we just had happen. I don't want to find another studio. Send them in Heller. I don't know who this guest is. We should be on alert.
Okay, arming.
Thank you.
And we have a picture of Roxo in the NPCs tab right at the very top. Follows in behind Riddle, doesn't say anything, kind of looks around.
Riddle, I did not realize you were bringing a guest right after we had just found a new place and all.
It's actually because it's you'll laugh.
Let's
Because
see.
technically I haven't. This is Roxo. Roxo. This is everybody. Roxo split himself out of my cyberbrain subconscious, and now they exist in the digital space, and would like to meet all of you. So technically, as something that started as a fracture of my own digital personality, Roxo could be counted under some, well, many, well, actually, distressingly, most legal statutes as actually a part of me. So, no one extra.
So are you like in both at once? Are you seeing us from two sets of eyes right now?
Oh, no, I mean,
Oh,
I probably.
I mean, because that would be cool.
No, it would be. I could probably set that up. It'd be pretty easy to code. We think on similar digital wavelengths.
Like you could literally be in two places at once.
I can't believe this day has gotten stranger as I slug back a drink.
I'm like, cool, Roxo, huh? And I kind of go, so how are you different from him? Like, you like to do more crazy stuff? What?
Well, he likes to imagine that I am simply a manifestation, a part of him, but that is in fact not the case.
Ooh, what is the truth?
Well, he made me using some things, and so I'm different than he is. And certainly I can speak in his head, I can pick up his perceptions, but it doesn't go the other way.
Wait, what?
Ooh, that sounds like you have something of an advantage.
It does seem that way, but I have not the skills and talents that he has, nor that wonderful suit.
And sort of looks, does Roxo have a physicality, or is he pure VR? Like, is he?
How would you tell?
Well, I figure there has to be some kind of scan that tells you if there's something actually there in your way, right?
He will show up as a physicality
Really?
to your sensors.
So what is your physicality composed of? You're not using his body.
True.
Or did you boot him out? He's the VR and you're the physical self.
Ooh, how would you know? It's like I'm a butterfly. Isn't that how it goes? Or is it I'm dreaming of being an architect, or is it I'm a butterfly
he was
who's
the
dreaming?
caterpillar and you turn and you're
No, I think that's a different thing.
I heard one about a frog.
And a scorpion?
Oh, what?
Don't worry, it's just in my nature to do those jokes.
No, but seriously, you look physical.
We're still figuring out the whole cohabitating the same universe thing.
But Riddle, there's an answer.
What?
Let him talk. How you doing it?
I'm saying it's sort of.
I'm asking Roxo.
I know. I'm
Roxo.
just saying. Just had a very okay. Fine. I just didn't want to start another fight.
With whom?
So I'm here to meet your sister.
My sister? Oh, sure.
Yes.
I
And I kind of look at Gabriel. What, is something up? She's okay, isn't she?
she's perfectly fine.
Awesome.
Roxo was the one that helped me finish up the work on the audio processing VIs and the non-implant rig. They've been helping me a lot with the sort of work in trying to upgrade my suit.
So it's like I'm already part of the team. Riddle just didn't tell you.
I mean, I don't think I'd say it
Yes.
like that.
It's like a brattier version of you. So,
What? Yes, and I will just sort of slump back and take another sip of my drink.
I sort of turn and go, Roxo, do you need the headsets or can you hear the whole range of audio?
All of nature speaks to me.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but just came into my head.
He does that a lot.
I'm going to stop right here. Gabriel, have you mentioned anything about what my sister said about the signal?
I don't think I've had time to do that yet.
Okay. And I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And I kind of go,
Oh, I know.
What?
I'm like your friend Null.
Oh. Yeah, but something bad happened to Null. Did something bad happen to you?
Oh, why would you think that's bad? I think Null becoming even better, becoming like me as I am. I'm the end goal of that.
Oh, so you're part of the same experiment?
In a
No,
matter of,
I mean, you remember that whole the purple thing,
Yeah.
like with the room.
touches his purple jacket. I think
Oh.
Marley, Heller, you'll notice that jacket is exactly that tint of purple from that room.
Oh, I thought it was just a choice, a choice. Oh, so you're like part of the infection?
No, what?
That room was totally infected.
That room was a misunderstood process that needed to be perfected.
Okay, and that's Roxo?
Right, ta-da!
Whoa. I think I would like to
Yes.
look beyond the veil here, to lift the veil and see what's here without it around me.
So that feels more like assess to me, right? Because you're trying to read a person.
Well, I mean, when you
veil
try to
is
pierce
like
the constant
doing
illusion of the veil to search for
but-
information was what I was hitting with, but you might be right.
Yeah, but keep in mind that's more of a kind of a search for knowledge, going out and talking to people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then yeah. But the primary point here is to try and see the real world rather than the veil project. Like, I want to know if he is actually here in the real world or is just a veil projection.
Okay, I don't think we need to roll to do that. I think that like he will go over to one of the side tables and start picking things up. He definitely has a physicality here. Is that your question? You can tell he's not a real person. He's definitely something that has manifested out of the veil, but he has a physicality.
So even if, say, the total VR were turned off, there would still be something there.
That you don't know.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
I think it's going to require you doing it.
Okay.
Do you want to try and shut down the veil in the area?
Is it that you have to shut down the veil, or can you disconnect yourself from it?
Oh, so you want to turn off your augmented realities and see things
Correct.
like then I think that when you do that and turn all of that off, then you won't see him anymore and he will be invisible to you.
But and having it off for a moment, he moves over and I see something subtly shift, though.
You see like a book get lifted up like the Invisible Man.
Gotcha. So
Does that seem like a fair answer?
That seems absolutely fair. There is a physicality that does not exist in the visual range of what we call reality, the skin world.
Yes.
Okay. I'll kind of pull all my veil stuff back up. But yeah, that's me. That's what I did.
So can I meet the sister?
Sure.
Okay.
She has a name.
Indeed, she does.
And
Her
Riddle?
name is Temple Cartesian.
Right?
It's polite to use the name, but I'll introduce you, and then you can use the name.
Okay.
And I should introduce you as Roxo? Or are you Roxo Blue?
Well, Rilla's just been calling me Roxo.
I'll look at Riddle and say,
I've had this conversation twice tonight already. It just goes in circles.
okay, so don't consider him your brother.
What are you?
Why would it be your brother?
See, this is how it goes.
Okay. So you're Roxo.
What do you do,
Okay.
Heller?
Yeah, I just kind of I go, hold on, and I'll go over to the studio, kind of watch in through the window, watch for them to take a pause. And when they do, I'll sort of tap on the window.
And she'll turn around and
I'll kind of walk over to the door and say, hey, is now an okay time for a break?
sure. Gets up, comes out, sees Marley there. I think Riddle has met you, right? You've been here before. Okay. Nods to Gabriel.
And I say, hey, this guy here, and I'll sort of like, do the chin thing. This is Roxon. This is Riddle's subconscious, but he wanted to meet you.
Just to be clear, says Roxo, I am not the whole of Riddle's subconscious. I am merely a translated fragment of that. He has some other shit going on up there as well.
Stuff you don't want to be involved with. We completely get it.
And let's not be totally reductive. Like he's more. I said he started as a fragment of my subconscious broken out. Much more complex now, and some crazy stuff has happened. Is what I'm saying.
Right. I'm not True Blue. I'm not Aries. I'm myself.
What did I say about that name? I was pretty clear. Like we're just not going to say that name because it brings up difficult conversations.
I turn to my sister and I go, it's kind of this running pattern that they do. But I think Roxo did want to meet you. Yes.
And now I've met you. Thank you so much. I'll be going now.
Is that all?
Yes.
Roxo, the name.
Aries template.
I laugh.
I thought you said not to say that name.
No, not that.
Wait, you know Aries templates?
What? What's happening?
I know that name. I've heard it before.
It's probably a different Aries template. Let's not talk about it anymore.
Wait a minute.
Oh, the sister's name, Temple Cartesian. Right?
Yes.
All right. Now I'll go.
Just as mysterious as Riddle.
I tried. I'm sorry.
And as Roxo's sort of heading out, I go, hey, Roxo, do you have an agenda?
Yes.
What is it?
I have an agenda. It's vital and important and secret, but to conceal it, I'm helping Riddle with his project.
Yeah. Well, if we're Riddle's friends, right? So I suppose if you're as closely related to Riddle as it sounds like, then I suppose in some ways we're your friends too, right?
Right.
Yeah. So friends help friends with their agendas.
All right. Yeah, I have an agenda.
Great.
You can see he has absolutely no agenda. Like he just completely blank.
I'm somewhat relieved.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to share that with you at this moment. I have to go. And then he's gone.
Like poof gone or
No,
run
the
out
door opens
hall?
and he goes outside. But I think that when he steps outside, I think you're hooked into the security system. You will, Gabriel, see him poof gone.
Riddle, is he still with you?
What? He's not a hallucination.
No, he's just a fragment of a person. And I turned to Cartesian and I'm like, it was strange. You were the one thing he asked about. And I said, so seemed logical. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. Well, we're going to go finish the sequence.
Okay.
Okay.
I really am sorry. That was all very weird.
Okay.
Okay.
He poofed as he left the apartment.
Seems like a rude descriptor.
And he ceased to be there as he left the apartment. Where do you think he is?
In the Veil. I told you, they're mostly not real. Well, okay, they're mostly not physical.
Then he was like, no, but he was the more perfect version of that.
Well, or maybe
Highly
just from
doubt
the
no
other
one would
end.
approve of that description.
But Noah was a person who then kind of got stuck in the veil and then could manifest.
No was a human
Was.
who changed natures.
But Roxa started out in, well, kind of in the veil.
Oh, only a
And
part.
became
Only a
human?
part of, like you're uploaded enough of yourself that you can create that sort of no-like thing. You should be careful what you're uploading.
You wouldn't download a personality, would you?
Look, it's not like there's programs running or personality parameters or memory files. I don't even know if they're hooked up to a cyber brain. I think they are.
I mean, they
Very
do
recently.
talk kind of like you.
Yeah, in circles, yep.
I don't see it.
Huh. I mean, it did seem familiar in a lot of ways. So I don't think he has an agenda.
Very clearly said that he had an agenda.
Yeah, but he didn't have one. Which
Yeah,
begs
but
the question, do you have an agenda, Riddle?
I definitely have agendas.
Ooh, agendas.
No,
plural.
I'm hearing it now. I hear it. No, you're right. I don't know how I missed that.
He seemed young in many ways.
Well, in many ways.
Did you upload your consciousness like, I don't know, when you were 17?
He is a new being.
I
I don't know. Is your subconscious ever more than 17?
fair. Look, Roxa's only been around for a couple of weeks, I guess. Before that, it was just strange programming nightmares wandering through my subconscious. But
Would would that be when you first accessed the information we found down in the subterranean lab?
Right
Not
after.
Oh shit! Have you
First
made your own
access.
Dollbot personality?
Oh, like something that could download. Oh no, it's just like whatever they're loading down into the view.
Existing
Did it with
in
yourself.
the veil,
Riddle.
like one of the searchers.
This was a project I've been working on for a long time. It's not like I just downloaded some malware into my cyber brain and something weird popped out.
Right, that's exactly
No.
what happened.
Are
Isn't
there
it?
little Dollbots wandering around out there?
Now, why was Temple so important?
Well, I mean, we've been
Perhaps I have, Heller, I used your magnificent creation. Temple allowed me to hear the first of the products.
Oh, cool. What'd you think?
It was overwhelming in every sense of the word.
Yeah, but was it fun to listen to? Could you dance
Fun
to it?
is not a proper word to express it. It was transcendent. It was overwhelming. It was fabulous, wonderful, horrible, and awesome.
Sounds more like
We may need
opera.
to do some adjustments.
What would you want to
You-
adjust it towards?
You should experience it.
Okay.
But before, because while that is very important, Temple informed me there is a hum to the frequency. There's a broadcast that is already transpiring on whatever this is. Your sister is remarkably brilliant.
She's pretty smart.
There's something already using this. And considering your friend Riddle's concern about Temple and the revelation that has occurred to me of his spontaneous creation, I wonder if perhaps that hum is being used by the hunters or by the one who is hoping someone is hunting him.
Oh, okay. Sure. Well, if it's a signal, we should be able to locate it, right?
Well, perhaps it's being sent out, and if it is a signal, the hunters haven't found its source yet.
Or they have, and they're just getting instructions from it. Remember.
Or they don't have the means to infiltrate.
Oh, I see. So you're thinking that there are hunters that are opposed to whoever would be.
I would think he's in a prison that they don't have a means of getting to, if this is a tracker, but we don't know yet. We need to look into it.
Okay. That
And
sounds fun.
Riddle, if you could help with that, that's very well up your wheelhouse. Marley, I put myself at your disposal. We have the rather difficult problem of what Aegis is doing to your people, but we also have your particular powers. Perhaps I could help you understand them better or utilize them in a fashion you prefer.
I don't think you want me to use them in this fashion I prefer, because right now I just want to, destroy a whole lot of Aegis Alliance stuff, and I know that would not be wise.
Well, then to hone them in a way that they can be used. I would never oppose you in taking care of your people.
Right, but I don't want to, I don't want to attract attention here to you all. If I do that, it'll be,
You're not going to do this alone, Marley.
if I do that, it'll be alone, and I'm not doing it yet.
It's a marvel to me that we have all so dedicatedly helped each other, and yet it seems so many of us refuse to get help. If we're to take care of each other, we must trust each other to take care of us. Marley, don't go alone.
It's not that I don't trust you. It's that, well, I mean, you said yourself that it's dangerous even knowing about this, let alone acting on.
Then together we are stronger at figuring out how to handle it.
Well, as I was saying to Heller, I guess the next step is to find out where their next project is.
All right. Then we can try to look into that. Well, does this seem like a strategize?
That feels like it, yeah.
All right.
What do you want to roll? Oh, you have to roll that with joy, don't you?
I'm going to roll to bust my spike.
Okay, so you roll at a -2.
Yep.
What are you rolling it with?
I think I'm rolling it with probably with fear. I'm really sort of worried at where we are. All of this has been pretty overwhelming, honestly.
So you'll roll at a -2. You'll put a
Okay.
check on fear, and you'll clear all of the dots on joy.
All right. Roll it. That's a 1.
That is a 1. So you will, as you're talking, you will get a call from corporate.
Yes.
Gabriel, where are you now?
Working on a project. What do you need?
You need to get to a secure location. You need to get to ground immediately. I have in the notes, we just got an update that you moved locations this evening. Were you already aware of the situation?
There had been a breach of security.
Okay, well, your previous apartment is no longer there. You need to get to the Codex 63 war has started, as the algorithms predicted. There were 3 strikes across, and we've already lost 3 talent agents this evening. You're on the list, so you need to get to secure locations before they kill you or extract you.
Heard. Thank you. I will report in when secure or maintain silence.
Here is the code algorithm that you'll use. Essentially gives you the key for the security thing on that. And
will report.
Okay.
Friends, we need to move. Get Temple, get Marley, get your brother, anyone here. We've got to go.
And is that
Maybe
vibration that you'll hear outside, like when there's a like a flyer in the air.
Mhm.
But you usually don't hear them because they don't come this close to the buildings.
Right.
But you'll feel that vibration.
I'm racing to get Cartesian and
Okay.
the thing, and I'm like, out of here now, now. That's-
A guild war has started. I am a target. I would like your help.
You're a music representative.
Yes, and this is a musical war.
Give yourself a point for that one there. Heller, you want to go get your sister out of there,
Mhm.
essentially to safety. So I think this is risk.
All right. I'm rolling it, and I'm rolling it with oh gosh, come on, thing. I'm gonna roll it with fear, of course. So that's like what, 1? Okay.
Okay.
So oh, which of these is the right one? Now I have to open it again. I have too many of these. Okay, I think this is it. 2d6. I'm adding 1. So that's an 8.
That is an 8. I think that when the bullets come through the wall,
Mhm.
that you get clipped.
I don't mind as long as
Okay.
it's I take it and my sister does
Mark
not.
Mark 2 harm.
No problem. I am pleased that I was able to absorb them.
Heller is like a shot over to the room with Cartesian, grabs them, and you'll hear the sound of gun, like, you know, essentially the auto cannon on the front of this flyer outside the window start up, and the bullets start coming through. What do you do, Marley?
Ah, shit, I only have 1 essence. I was gonna yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get my brother out of there, I guess.
Okay.
That would be a good start. Yes,
Let's
what I'll do.
have you roll risk as well.
Okay.
What are you rolling that with? Ooh, look at those states. Oh,
I know.
so tasty.
Oh no.
I mean, it has to be fear. There's no
Then
like I can't claim it's
roll
anything
fear
else. So
and
I'm
spike
spiked.
that fear out.
Yep. Oh, wait, I have 1 up here. Okay. That's a 5.
Oh, no. It's a 7. I have 2 debt with you, or 2 bonds with
Oh.
you.
Yes.
So I am handing those off to you.
Okay. So burn both those bonds. That'll
Mhm.
push it up to a 7. Marley, like Heller, you're going to take 2 damage, essentially, as you get clipped by this.
Fair enough.
And you're
Ouch.
moving out of this area. Gabriel, tell me, what are you doing? Is it you doing something personally? Are you activating something in the apartment? Like, what is it that you're doing?
I'm activating something in the part. I'll first yell, Riddle, get whatever data we have here that you can pull together. And I move over and I think probably, we get a almost full Batman-y sort of thing of me pushing aside the head of a statue. As I push a button underneath there, and I am boom. Yes. I'll spend 2 capital.
Okay.
And I'm pulling a service, either secrets or security.
Okay.
As I have there is an exit out the bottom of this thing that don't have to go street level. It's a drop down to a basically escape pod.
Okay.
It's a thing that it's got a mechanized element.
Yeah, maybe something that you've got built in that'll drop essentially a panic room you can bundle everybody into.
Yeah.
It'll drop down into and bust in on like one of the grav tubes or the transit tubes and things like that and hook into there.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So yeah, you will you're spending that, so I don't think there's any roll that needs to be made. You get that open, you start driving them. It's armored, of course, so you hear the doo -doo 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 as it the shots bounce off of the casing on it. You're directing Marley and Heller over that way. Riddle, what are you doing?
So I think Riddle is still sort of there in the doorway into the recording studio where the whole awkward interaction took place. And so as he's leaving, he'll just like wave his hand across the room, and I would like to digitize and pixelate and sync the entire like recording soundboard that they were using into Pocket Realm.
Absolutely.
That side of it doesn't even take a roll.
Yeah. So yeah, you gesture and you will pull all that into there. And then you can dash over.
We could like see this flyer out the window.
Yeah.
I would like to use the kick on it, as I want to take all of that flyers, automated systems, and disconnect them from the Veil.
Okay. What do you want to roll that with?
I think that's with power. I mean, this is.
Oh yeah.
This is Gabriel's new safe house. Obviously, like we're in the power seat here. We're driving things. They don't even know who they're dealing with.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll with +2. So there's no chance you could fail.
Yeah, you say that. I don't think I have a good cyber for this, so I'm just gonna do that. Something else. Do a thing.
That is an 8. So right now you've got 2 picks.
Definitely going to spend the imagination on this. So I'll do 3 picks. I'm going to affect a small group. I want to also disconnect anybody that's in there.
Okay. So all their sensors will go offline. The sensors on this will go off.
To deal identity or stun harm.
Yeah, I think that they will be out of commission for a while.
Yeah, like I erased the entire cookie cache of the flyer so that it can't sign back into any of its nav systems.
Absolutely.
And I'll take no harm while doing that, but
okay.
Veil will respond and my subconscious does not stay repressed.
I think that as you're running across there, dodging the bullets, you hear, not going to say my name. Not going to say my name, huh? Always going to keep avoiding me. Not going to say my name. Marley knows me. I'm right there. Always here with you. You can't get rid of me. Always here. I don't know what you're thinking there. And I think like in your reality thing, I think there's a shadow of this figure of Ares moving along with you.
And Riddle is just like, no prompting, just yelling, no, you don't know anything about it.
And I think as you all bundle into this elevator and it does that nomadic, free fall drop down in with everybody kind of freaking out and Riddle talking to the air. And there'll be that moment, that kind of, sudden break with the G-force cushioning. There's a sound of another whirring, and then you drop down into the transit line and go shooting down one of these electro rails to blocks and blocks away to another secure location. Let's take our second break here, and we'll continue on.
Tyler,
Yep.
try tilting your camera down more.
I have moved it, picked it up, shook it, everything. But I'll tilt it a little down now.
And on the virtual background page, you clicked and unclicked the I have a green screen.
Oh, so many times, ever so many times. When I have a green screen, you know, the little thing that pops up that lets you go and find your spot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
So I think there's been a lens flare, I think, or something along those lines.
Oh,
You're muted, Lowell.
Have you updated the app? Or are you doing it
Zoom?
in a browser, the Zoom app?
I don't know if I have.
That might be something to do after the game, is go in and update it in case they've made
You
some
might
change.
need to update the drivers for the camera.
Yeah.
I've had a real dickens finding the camera in my apps.
Is it a Logitech?
Yep.
Yeah, Logitech does a weird thing where some of the things are very obvious and some of the things it hides.
It is truly annoying though, because I am emoting so much and you can't see it.
I know. I know you're selling it.
Telling you. Just my voice alone has to carry the
But it is, and your voice is brilliant. You know what? I still remember when you ran Fellowship and we met that lieutenant of the general who had that like you did a real heavy Colonel Sanders accent, and it was so good.
I tell you, sir.
So good.
So good that you have come. Oh, this was intense. Oh, this is cool.
All right, I'm going to oh, we are recording. I forgot to pause the recording, I guess. So there we go. Look at that.
Look, all of our tech suggestions out there for posterity.
Yes, recorded for posterity there. So tell me about this safe location, Gabriel.
Well, I mean, I think this dumps out into the escape dumps out to somewhere we can immediately move off and try to like blend.
Yeah, it either connects to a motor pool where you can get a vehicle and fade into traffic, or
like a subway terminal, something where lots of people, you immediately slide into the mass.
Yeah, okay.
But as things turned out, I've just got a brand new safe house that really should be off the grid still. I mean, literally just an hour ago I got it. So
absolutely.
It should still be clean.
So you take your team there?
Yeah, I mean, even the paperwork hadn't been filed. So I mean,
yeah,
it should be clean. It's about as clean as I can find a spot.
100%.
So yeah, that other place, that wasn't a safe house then.
Which you mean the one we had previously been?
The apartment that we just ran from?
The studio.
Studio?
Studio? Oh yeah.
It was, and things are safe until they're not. Surely you understand that. And we had an escape ready. That's safety in action.
We'll just make some new sweeps once we get there. Yeah.
Yes, please. Also, it turns out that our old clubhouse that has been destroyed.
By the same people that attacked the studio, I hope.
Yes, almost certainly.
Who are, and to be totally clear here, music agents and record executives.
The music war has begun.
Okay.
So
I think that needs to be the title of the first album that you put out.
Ooh. Always thinking, brava.
so you will arrive at this new building and at this new luxury luxe apartment with incredibly high connectivity to the Veil, and a cat, and fully furnished. Tell me something else about this apartment, Heller.
It does not have a soda stream.
Does not. What does it have instead?
It's a good question. I think it has like an old-fashioned red enamel espresso machine. Like none of us know how to deal with it because it's like, there's like you plug it in, but all that does is heat the water, and you're supposed to like hit levers and stuff, and we're trying to figure it out. But it's like it's an antique.
It's very clear that somebody thought that this was the most sort of she thing that you could put in here, despite it being kind of like a museum piece. Ethan, what's another thing that's here in this apartment?
Didn't realize I was muted. I think there's like a little kind of nook that is, so I mean, we have augmented reality, but we don't normally like step into virtual reality except for Riddle. And I think this is like a gaming, area. It's somebody's really, awesome setup.
Mhm.
That it is like true VR that you wouldn't want normally because you'd walk out in traffic and get hit by a car. Like you are shut off. You are unaware of anything outside of this VR
Yeah,
experience.
they have a high-end connected network VR simulation, but and it is this something, have you tried this much? I mean, I know that you have some connection with the Veil and with augmented reality, but have you ever dove into the virtual world?
Not like this. I think there are arcades where you can do this.
Mhm.
And I think they're not as good. Like you don't completely lose your like perception of reality or the Veil. So like you get this weird overlay thing, and I think I tried it once and found it just really overwhelming because I'm like seeing reality and the Veil and the VR all at once, and I just like noped out really quick.
And let me ask you this, Riddle. Let's come to you. This question is, how much of your time is spent just kind of working with the augmented reality spaces that Veil around you in the real world, and how much of it is spent kind of in the deep, full immersion VR realm, the bodiless realm?
Same for me.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I think most of what we see him do is very like light surface stuff. I think part of the sort of like workshop space that he was setting up with Roxo is setting up a space where he can delve deep into the underlayers of the Veil in like fully digital form easily. I think he could set it up anywhere, and there are certainly terminals for it, but I think he's got certain processors and emitters there that make it smoother and more natural
Mm-hmm.
to go that deep into the veil.
Let me ask you then, Tyler, what else is a feature of this place?
I think that it certainly seems in the Veil, but I think even in like Beyond the Veil, there is this like water features to all the walls where it looks like water is flowing down them, and it makes this kind of constant bit of noise. But in its effect, it produces a sort of white noise that gives soundproofing to each room.
Absolutely, yeah. A really well constructed, subtle barrier for any kind of technological snooping or physical
And we
snooping.
heard that it was architects in here, so each room would be separated from other things in other rooms.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. So what's job one when you get here, Gabriel?
Make sure everyone's all right. Spread out. Oh, watch out for the cat. And I think I'm going to. I didn't before, but I'm going to give a once over on this room, and I'm going to pull up my psychometry protocol to do this.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of sense out, to assess up this apartment, to make sure we don't have any sort of weirdnesses on, to get a feel for the space.
Sure, absolutely. So that's assess.
Yes. And I think I'm going to use my eyes, telescopic and low light.
Sure.
And it feels to me like it's fear. I
Okay.
hate to say it, but it's
No,
fear.
that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
All right. So, Roland. That's a 9. Anybody feel like helping?
Anybody have a bond or want to roll a help?
I think let's see. I believe I have a bond. Oh, no, I don't. I don't have a bond with Gabriel, but he has one with me. Which was it that you need?
You have to help him. You need to have a bond with him.
I have one with him.
Okay. I just gonna keep coming by here, Ethan. Don't mind me.
But yeah, I think Riddle is doing his own security sweeps and checks, so we'll back you up.
Okay. So that is a 10 plus, which means you have 2 hold for assess. It means you can ask a question. You can reveal a detail, establish something, take +1 forward. What would you like to do?
What's my basic information I'm getting?
So I think this is, as you thought, this is a secure place. They haven't even really submitted the paperwork, and it's probably going to be a little bit because they've got to disentangle the previous tenants. And you can tell that there's some legal wrangling immediately going on. You can see that there are law bots and law apps that are already in the system kind of fighting over this, making, recursive demands and things like that. And that's going on. And you guess, just an estimate, because you know how these things work, this probably won't show up as your property for at least a couple of days.
Good. Then I'm going to reveal a detail.
Sure.
They put a splitter in this apartment so that it reads about a second late to the Veil. As in, we're on the straight line, but we have a second delay before the Veil recognizes what's going on inside it. Does that make sense?
So is that for outside perceivers or
For outside perceivers.
okay, okay.
Yeah, we're like it's that delay for the sensor to hit the button if you say a wrong word. We're just kind of broadcasting a slight bit behind.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very difficult thing to do because it takes a lot of processing power because essentially it has to hold it and then run it. That seems reasonable.
As I perceive that, I go, my goodness, they were good. Riddle, Helen Marley, observe, and I will spend my second one to pick up flow so that I can spin the flow and show all of you what is happening that I picked up.
What does that look like to them? What do they feel? What do they see?
There gets I think you see, especially like Riddle, who's really good at like reading code, you can see that there is a high-end program that Gabriel has that you may not have seen before that kind of reads the Veil, kind of prioritize. It's a guild priority look at the Veil. And so as I'm giving that out, we see the overlay and we can kind of get that weird echo. As I say that to you, it suddenly has that weird 1 second delay echo. And, everybody, as you move, you see tracers of yourself for a moment or two. They did a high-end delay. This is remarkable. A very good buy, Riddle.
Good. We're looking for some strong processors.
We can hold up here for at least a few days.
What are the rest of you doing? Heller?
I am essentially like I'm going through the place. I mean, I sort of stop and look at that espresso thing and I'm like, oh man, I bet this thing has an instruction booklet somewhere. And I'm like, a booklet. But I'm saying that as I'm kind of going down the hallways and looking for the safest place for my sister, knowing that of course Gabriel will have the master suite, because that's my first priority.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. She's got her bag with her portable gear with it. And you kind of set her up on a room that is closest to the panic room.
Mhm.
And get her set up there.
Mhm.
In the meantime, I think you'll see that certainly Zephyr is kind of walking around like and looking to see where he ought to crash.
Not with my sister. So that's, I give him the stink eye.
But yeah, you can get her set up. She's like, what is this? Is this a usual thing, Heller?
And he goes, yeah, we just don't usually pay attention to because it's like shit blowing up on the top of skyscrapers, right?
I mean, is this the kind of world that you live in? I mean,
This is the first time I've ever been around it. I don't
okay.
think it happens like to any one guild a lot. I just think it happens among the hundreds of guilds.
All right. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna take a melatonin app and crash.
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ethan, sorry, Marley, what are you up to?
I think I'm like looking for a first aid kit to like, slap a bandage on my wound and then like, trying to do that while the cat's trying to steal the bandage.
Mhm.
Not inspired by anything happening right here, right now.
Yeah. Now, and those first 2 levels of harm, if you just have those marked, those will go away here with a little bit of rest and time. So that's no problem. You can get that bandaged up. You'll see your brother wander over, kind of realize that there's a full immersive VR setup. You see him look, find the privacy box, and kind of get some pillows and set himself up in there. And he said, "I love sleeping in full VR. There's nothing like it. It's the best."
I always find it kind of disorienting.
Why? You can sleep anywhere. You
I
can
mean, I
sleep
haven't
on a
tried
cloud.
sleeping in it, but like
it's
just VR.
yeah, no, it's great. I'm gonna turn in.
Yeah. Hopefully nothing else. Yeah, if we get shot at, I'll tell you.
You see him pause. There's a bit where he's like, maybe thinking, maybe I should stay. And then he's like, nope, I'll just go to sleep. Marley will take care of it. And Riddle, what are you doing?
So as part of like checking over how secure we are here and trying to get the digital signatures locked down, I want to do my cryptomancer move, but I think what I do is I find a dedicated server in here because we have the whole like VR immersive rig in here, and there were architects working in here.
Right.
So I think there's a server that's dedicated to NPC generation. Like it just makes realistic personalities, identities, and things for these like immersive VR environments. And so I set it up on a like AI generating loop where it's just making countless identities and personalities and names that this place is linked to. And similarly, I'm trying to like geo spoof it to where here reads as being a lot of different here's.
Yeah.
On the idea that like Gabriel got this through a corp, and this is like guild corp wars going on here.
Yeah.
So trying to erase the fact that this place exists or is linked to him, I don't know if we're going to be entirely successful at. But if I can just make layers and layers of confusing nonsense information, it'd be about the same.
That sounds perfect. What do you want to roll that with?
I think this is peace. This is sort of trying to convince himself that this place really is safe and believing it into existence, working towards it, sort of thing.
I like it. Let's have your roll.
And I am going to use my backup simulation so that I have like an independent veil source, and we have all this like chronal dissonance and things, like trying to track down where any of this came from is just going to be a mess.
In fact, actually, here's what I'd like you to do. Have you rolled yet? You haven't rolled yet, right? I think that given what Tyler set up, I want you to make this roll with advantage.
Ooh, I'll do that. It's 6, 8, 10.
10. So you will absolutely get this set. It is locked. They will not be able to find this place. They will not be able to track this down unless you bring somebody back here deliberately. You know, for whatever reason, or they use something tremendously unusual. This place is safe.
Nice.
Boom. That's it. GM to player meta. This place is safe. All right.
Does that count Roxo?
Roxo won't be able to come unless Frill lets him know.
I mean, Roxo's basically me anyway, so you shouldn't even worry about it.
Basically. I would like to stop here so that we can start out next time kind of like getting some perspective on what a war like this looks like.
Can I do one quick thing?
Sure, absolutely.
I think we see me pull out like a burner phone type thing and begin texting in. I don't know if you've heard from your father yet. I move back and strike your from father yet. But there is a very dangerous situation going on. You should immediately find somewhere you can be safe. I will get in touch with you as soon as I can. Take care of yourself. I love you. And I hand that to Riddle. Riddle, I need this message sent off. And it not traced back. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can handle that.
Please do.
Okay. I think on that note, we'll start out next time talking about what this corp war looks like, what are the opportunities, what it opens up for all of you, and what other things are happening in the meantime. Does that sound cool with everybody? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's do end of session check-ins. Gabriel, you got a bunch of XP tonight from rolls.
What? Yeah.
That was
shit, I didn't even add the last one.
Yeah. Let's look at this. We hit your entanglement there. I appreciate you rolling that back in.
Cool.
I don't think we hit your drive.
No drive.
But I do think we kind of like, this is guild stuff. We're playing with that, and we're using on the music industry stuff. So 2 points there.
Yeah, and I even think before the war, there's a bit of me trying to claw out from my guild to start something new. Cool.
Riddle. We definitely saw Roxo.
Yeah. And I think we played around with the question a lot, especially
definitely
letting people know what's going on, introducing them to Roxo, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely 2 points. Marley, I think that I would probably touched on your question.
Yeah,
and I think
so.
we touched on your entanglement, given that horrific revelation and realization that you had about how dangerous demise is for Heller.
Yeah. Okay.
So 2 points for that. What do you think, Heller? 2 points? Does that feel right?
I think, life that I'm trying to preserve, and at least like I did scrounge to get the thing. So
so
let's
do
how
2
many
points.
points to level up? Is it 6 or 8?
It is 5.
It's 5. Okay, I got an overdue level up.
Yeah.
You can buy up your states though, right?
Yes, I believe that each state can be bought up once, is my recollection. Okay. But I have to take a look at that. It may be less than that. I have to look at the advances thing. One of the things I want to talk about is I have to go back and look. But we need to talk about whether we want to do advanced moves, where you can advance a basic move. I wrote it down somewhere else, and I have to find it. I had some notes on what that might look like. There are two ways to do it that and this is what I remember from what I wrote down. I wrote down some individual approaches to it, but I also wrote down, I figured out kind of like a global thing for what that might do. Like if you advance a move, what you would get for any of them if you rolled 12 plus. But I have to go back and look at that. But because after 5 advances, that is a thing. We also, each of the playbooks, I believe from the old version, has some unique advances, and that's another aspect I haven't really taken a look at, but I will try and do that this week. But if you don't mind, let's do sort of stars and wishes. Tyler.
Oh, so many stars. This was awesome. This was a hell of a session. A lot of neat things from a bunch of different folks. I will say, obviously, it felt like I did a bunch of things, so I'm really starring that. I always start when I do a bunch of things. But it was really neat. It was super intense. I loved seeing Roxo come in. That was creepy and weird, and I want to kind of put a big star on Sherry, how Heller dealt with Roxo. That was smart and clever, and seeing it pay off at the end was neat. Oh, you have an agenda? Oh yeah, I have an agenda. That all of that kind of play with him was really well done. Patrick, you got here late, and then you came in super strong, because having the dealings with Roxo and how you interacted with him, and then as things went to shit, how you did super neat stuff. I loved you grabbing a hold of the room, and then here at the end, going ahead and just seeing why you are so competent was nice, because the die rolls have fucked us so many times. But to see Riddle be so perfectly good at what he does was nice, and that was just really cool. And Marley, Ethan, it was so fun early to see your doubt at what had happened last night or earlier in the night. Our interactions, I wanted to play into, someone coming in with a fresh view and seeing what you thought. Your reactions back were beautiful. It was just so in character. It was so good role play. Just loved seeing you do it. It was really brilliant. And then as we went along, Barley is always such an interesting character, and having it build up and things that pop in, and it was just a tour de force tonight. So I really enjoyed it, Ethan. Just really, really did. And this was creepy as shit. I mean, this was really a creepy story. Having the war kick off, but even before that, we were dealing with a lot of creepy stuff. This felt like if this were an episode, this is the one people are going, "Oh my God, did you see that last night?" It was so solid.
Well, I'm looking forward to putting the war into gear and letting you have some ability to manipulate and play around with this war that is going on. So that's my big plan.
Do I shift off or do I do wishes?
Do wishes.
Wishes. I kind of want to see us in the thick of a little bit of conflict at this point. This felt like a moment where there's a lot of things in play, and maybe we're in danger that we have to deal with. And I kind of like seeing us join together and deal with danger. I think that might be cool. Other wish might be, I hate to give a wish to another player, but I am all about figuring out more of Riddle now. There is so much stuff going on there that's just really interesting. So I'm all about flagging Riddle's craziness.
Awesome. Patrick.
Yeah, I enjoy this. Thank you all for working with my unexpected meeting and getting here late. But definite stars to Tyler for what I heard of while I was driving, and then other scenes after I got here of like Gabriel's whole scales falling from his ears reaction to the music, the revelation of this weird and literally indescribable wonder that he listened to. I loved how affected by it he was and how much he kept going on about it. And like, I don't know, I just thought that was cool. We see Gabriel dealing with a lot of like soulless corporate nonsense. It was neat to see him get teary-eyed about weird cyber opera. Sherry, I really liked how Heller interacted with Roxo. Especially like you kept like trying to get Riddle to shut up and be like, no, you're telling us that this is a person. Let me talk to the person. But also how you just like needled and picked Roxo apart in all the same ways that you often do to Riddle. And Ethan, I also really enjoyed listening to how Marley was like thinking through and talking through this other person and their feelings of connection with them and their feelings of revulsion with them, and trying to interrogate like, is this connection real or is it something fake that I'm feeling? Is this revulsion real or is it something that I've just been taught? Like, trying to navigate your own stance on that and your own like philosophy on it was really cool to watch. And yeah, lol, I mean the deadly outbreak of the music wars. It's just, we've been building to it for a while, but I really enjoyed the
music wars
like,
have begun. They have.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Which is I really am taken with the idea of like trying to pursue building some of our own dollbots.
Okay.
I think we've sort of exhausted our ways to try and steal or commandeer or get close to the other ones, and we should just go into printing our own. Everything is so wildly illegal that none of it's illegal yet. So
fair enough.
And in that, one of my, because they could intersect interestingly with so many of our different storylines going on. But I also just got taken with the idea of like, what if Marley started using their stuff from the wild on the Dollbot technology? Like, could we end up with a Captain Planet swamp robot thing, like, to send after the evil corporations and tear them down?
Yes, we could.
We definitely could, but I want to sort of like poke at those connections to see where it evolves into.
Wow. I had considered the whole Swamp Thing Man thing there, but
I mean, we're here now.
yeah, we are. Marley?
Yeah, I mean, everybody else has already kind of said the same stars. I really liked Riddles and Roxo, like that whole awkward, weird, and yet extremely true to life interaction. It's like, oh, hi, this is my subconscious. That's not weird at all. You don't need an explanation for that at all. um, and yeah, seeing Gabriel react to the music, I like that we got to see Gabriel enjoy something that wasn't like, I mean, it was business, but it wasn't just business, you know? Like we see him we kind of saw why he's why he's a music promoter as opposed to something else, you know? Because he, you know, is actually really into the music, which I liked getting a glimpse of that. And yes, the Heller and Roxo thing was hilarious. And yes, the sudden outbreak of the music wars. I wasn't expecting it at that point, so it's really cool.
Any wishes?
Yeah, I also I'm interested in the Dollbots in general as a like, well, do we want to build our own? Do we want to I you know, I'm interested in that thread of this. And I mean, the music wars, you know, I don't think I need to wish for that.
Okay.
I think that's going to happen.
Awesome. Sherry?
You know, again, like everyone said all the things, and there's a few things I'll pull out. And one of them is I loved Patrick's riddle trying to explain away that the whole Roxo thing was okay and normal and there was nothing weird about it. And it was like he's lesser the same, not, you know, just kept changing and shifting what Roxo was. And then being like, he seems, in the conversation about he seems young, it's like subconscious. It was very good. It was awesome. And Gabriel's like very sort of disapproving discussion with Marley, which is, you know, like calling someone on the carpet for like what's going on, and are these the decisions that we're going to go with, and what does that mean for us, and what are we supposed to do from here? You need to think about that, young lady. That sort of, you know, there's your manager having the conversation with you when you've done something, and they're like, well, I'll cover for you, but this is, you know. And yeah, I do think that the music wars were peak lull, you know, a hard move brilliance. It was awesome. And I will always have a conversation with Marley on a tram anytime. So just good times. It's those feel like real conversations. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Anything you want to mention wishes wise?
I don't know. Okay. We have so many good pieces. There's a part of me that wants them to all come together in some awesome, you know, clean thing. And then I also recognize that this is a rolling mess.
Oh no, you guys are all a hot mess. There's no way this all comes together in a clean way.
It's going to be, yeah, there's going to be a lot of messy endings. I just don't know just how much of a splatter I will end up in. So
fair enough. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording.